Welcome back to one of my favorite portions of the Kentucky Bourbon Festival 2020 virtual edition. That's the culinary part. And we have here today, actually, I should say, we're in Christy Clark's house today, not just her fantastic restaurant, Mammy's Kitchen and Bar. We're with Christy Mammy Clark, and she says everybody refers to her as Mammy. So
Absolutely.
I'm on to the Mammy now.
Yes, and you welcome to my home.
I'm so glad to be here.
This is exciting. This is different. It's exciting and it's new. So I'm up for anything new.
It isn't often that I get to go to a chef's home and see him prepare. Usually I'll bring something if I go to a chef's home to take some work off of them. But today it's all on you, like usual.
Hey, I'm excited about it.
And before we get started, Mammy, let's talk about the restaurant a little bit. Just give us a 1-minute history of where it came from in its humble beginnings and where it is now as a giant
But still,
restaurant.
my heart, a few minutes isn't going to be enough. You know that. Once I start talking about Mammy's Kitchen, I do not stop.
It started on a griddle.
It started really very small, and it worked itself up to where we are today. And it's been over 13 years ago.
Oh my gosh.
Since we became Mammy's Kitchen, and just cooking for a few set of people, mostly tourists, for the bourbon festivals. I remember when we opened, it was around Bourbon Festival, and wow, man, how exciting that was, and what a big challenge it was to us to adapt to all the bourbon and all the bourbons that we get to cook with, and we're going to show off some of those today.
If I'm not mistaken, you have 140 of those on your bar?
Absolutely, yes we do.
So
And I brought some of them here, as many as I could carry, and so I will be taking them back. They're going to be missing some bourbons today, but I'm excited. Yeah, we are 100 proof plus or minus some today, and today's show is going to be rated B.
Rated B for bourbon? Awesome. Smart.
Sure
I'm
is.
catching on. I catch on fast.
Absolutely.
All right, so like we've said, this is all about cooking with bourbon. So take it away and tell us what you're going to do.
Okay, so I've got some hens here. I love Cornish hens, and I've been thinking, what can I do? I'm wanting to do this for some friends. I want to have a small get-together for our bourbon festival, and this is a perfect dish to cook, and it's bourbon-glazed Cornish hens, and oh my goodness, they're just beautiful. And with the color, I want carrots. So we're going to glaze those. And what we're going to do, so we've washed these, and I'm going to get my hands dirty, okay? I'm going to let you sit and watch while I get my hands dirty.
It's the only way
so
you
what
gotta
we're going to do, I'm going to do a couple of tablespoons of butter. Butter and bourbon. I'm going to tell you, you're in Kentucky. You know you're in Kentucky when you have butter and bourbon.
B&B is not necessarily bed and breakfast.
Bed and breakfast,
It could be butter
it is not.
and bourbon.
It is not. So we're going to add some butter in there, and I always add a little extra. And then we're going to put, I'm going to get some steak seasoning, and we're going to season that because it's got all the seasons. Steak seasoning, it's all the seasonings that I love that goes great with butter. And that's some garlic and some pepper and some salt. So we've got that going on. And we're going to do like 1/4 tablespoon of minced garlic. It just smells great. I love the smell of garlic.
Yes,
It just makes you feel like you're a real chef when you smell garlic. Like, I've minced this.
Or an Italian from the womb. One of the,
I feel
choose
like a
one.
real chef. I do. So we're going to add some
By the
pepper.
way, if you're at home taking notes, don't worry. All of these recipes are online at the KentuckyBourbonFestival.com.
Okay. I've got some good old pure honey that's going to go in here. And I don't even need a measuring cup, but just for camera purposes, we're going to pour all this in this little pot. So I've got my butter, my garlic, my pepper, and we're going to go ahead, why waste your time? Go ahead and get this in here. It's going to be a sticky day with all this bourbon and the glaze and the carrots and the hens.
Okay.
And you know what? I just want to throw that in there because bourbon and honey go together like peas and carrots. It's just, good. All right.
How we must suffer today. Look at that. It's going to be good eating.
And then I'm going to pick a bourbon, and I think I'm going to do the Jim Beam Maple, which is a good bourbon to cook with. It's got the great flavor. And for how I like to cook is with maple. We use this a lot at the restaurant with our bourbon bonds, pancakes or Cinnabon pancakes.
Oh, I bet.
And then we got 2/3 cup
I smell
of that.
it over here.
Oh my gosh, the aroma
Do you
of
do
that.
brunch at Mammy's?
I do a brunch, yes we do, on Sundays. Yes we do.
Okay.
And then we're just going to run over here and we're going to simmer this until it thickens up so we can pour that. I'm going to Turn this on low. Don't want it to get too hot. Don't want it to boil over, and I do not want it to spill any of that bourbon. So we're going to put our hens in here. And then what I'm going to do, you can put your gloves on if you want. We're going to get salt.
You're at home. You're next to the sink.
I'm at home, yes. I can wash my hands over and over, which is what we're used to these days.
That's
anyway.
right. Never thought about chapped hands.
Yes, yes. No fingerprints left on mine. They're gone. Okay, we're going to salt and pepper this hen really good. You know, the Cornish hen is the European version of a chicken in America, I guess. From what I've read, I've tried to read up on it.
And they generally are about 2 pounds, right?
Yes,
Tops.
yes,
Maybe,
and they're
maybe not
so
even that.
good.
Yeah.
They're really meaty, and they're really good. So, and I add the paprika because I want that crisp skin on top, and I always feel like the paprika just gives me that.
Just something else dry, I guess, on top to help out, right?
Yes, and so we do a bourbon sauce at Mammy's Kitchen, and we call it Uncle Marty's Bourbon Sauce, which is my brother who created this years and years ago for one of our first Bourbon Fest. And you can purchase it at Mammy's Kitchen.
Oh, no kidding. That's bottled and ready to rip?
Yes, it is.
Nice.
We sell a ton of it.
So does Marty cook as well?
Marty is my brother, and he does cook as well. He's a good cook. Marty was the type of person that could take a hen and just make a whole meal out of it.
Wow.
I've learned a lot from him. So, oh, it smells so good.
Oh, that is good.
Love it, love it, love
That is
it.
good.
I'm gonna run over here and we're gonna check this. I can hear it.
Is there any trick to getting that to blend together?
Once it starts simmering, it's going to start blending together, start cooking together.
Just
You
warmth
can see
is
that.
the key.
Yep. I
Okay.
just want it warm to pour over our hens. Wash my hands real good. All right. So here we go. This is perfect. Exactly how I want it.
So you kind of like it to foam a little bit, I guess.
Yes, I do.
Okay. Oh, my.
And we're going to get those carrots in there. We want them glazed carrots.
Are they in there? Do you cook them together for the aroma, I guess, of having carrots next to the meat?
Well, I need color. I want color, and there's nothing better than a bourbon glazed carrot. I've done it on several of my cooking shows, and I just keep going back to that. So you can see how that brown meat is going to be paired greatly.
Speaking of which, tell us the name of your cooking show.
It is What's Cooking in Mammy's House, and what am I going to be cooking today? And so there you go.
Awesome.
And so we're going to cook this for 30 minutes. I want this for 30 minutes, and then we're going to continue to baste it because we want all of those delicious flavors on top.
Not a set it and forget it. You need to be around the base.
Just no.
Okay.
Oh, isn't that going to be so pretty on a plate for your family or your friends that's coming over to watch our very first annual Bourbon Virtual Bourbon Festival. So we're gonna let that go. Now we're gonna start on my favorite vegetable, Brussels sprouts.
Okay.
And these are bourbon glazed, crispy Brussels sprouts. That's a mouthful.
Say that
telling
3
you.
times real
Bourbon
fast.
glazed.
That's a
Can't
sobriety
do it.
test
Can't
right
do
there.
it. Look at these over here. I just love them. And these are halved. I've got a half. Just kidding. I got some bacon already cooked.
Brussels sprouts are so popular right now?
I don't know, because it's not just you put them, they're not your mama's Brussels sprouts that you would never eat. And I think they're like little mini cabbages, but they're so versatile right now. And I'm having a ball playing with them. And this is one of my favorites, and this has been a favorite at the restaurant. I'm not kidding you. So we've halved them. We're gonna throw them in here. I've got some cooked bacon. We're gonna throw that in there. We're gonna do this. And I think just anything that's cooked with that sweet bourbon flavor just enhances the flavor of the Brussels sprouts. Even my husband don't eat them, and he's not a big Brussels sprout guy. So, and you just put a little sweetness onto something, and well, there you go. So we've got my butter in here, butter and bourbon. And we're going to pick a bourbon. Steve, would you like to pick any bourbon you want that we can cook with?
That I would probably do some cooking with would be the Jim Beam White or the Elijah Craig.
Oh, we got that Jim Beam right here. So we got
the Elijah Craig. How about I cheat and go around the curve here?
All right. Oh my goodness.
Something that I know is heavy on vanilla. A little bit of oak character to it. A favorite of mine in old fashions, I must say.
Gosh, I just love that.
It is.
Here we go. All right, so we're going to add some of this in here.
Say about 4 tablespoons or a quarter cup, I guess.
I've got about a quarter cup in here, and you can always add a little bit more. You can always add. We can always add. So I'm also going to do some of Uncle Marty's bourbon sauce, just so that'll stick on there. And this is giving it its sweet flavor. And there you go.
That's terrific.
I'm going to do some
little salt, a little pepper.
And a little pepper. Oh my goodness. And I want these crispy. I want these to be like an appetizer. And so you've got your hen, which is kind of a brownish skin. And then you've got your orange for your carrots. And now you've got your green.
Awesome.
So we're going to bake these right here. And there you go.
And they're also in at 350 alongside
They are
with the
at
hens.
350, and we want to cook them until they're crispy on the outside.
It's going to take about how long, do you think?
Probably about 45 minutes to 50 minutes. And usually if they're not as crispy as I want them, which I like mine very crispy, then you could turn it up to 400, cook it about 10 minutes, and they're going to be perfect.
Awesome.
All right.
Now that we have the hens and the Brussels sprouts in the oven cooking, we're going to move on to dessert and get that ready while the rest is cooking. So what sweet treat do you have for us, Mammy?
You ain't going to believe this. I'm going to tell you.
I bet there's some butter and bourbon involved.
It has got some butter and bourbon in it. And I'm going to tell you, and a peach too. It's just peachy. Because you know what? I found this Jim Beam peach out in my bar, and I thought, light bulb moment, bourbon-peach cobbler. Wow. I invented that, I think.
You think?
For today, I did
For today,
anyway.
you're taking
because
credit.
It's going to be so good.
And getting credit.
So
Nobody's gonna
1 cup of sugar, 1 cup of flour, and normally 1 cup of milk. But I did maybe a half cup of the bourbon-peach bourbon. And then I did half cup of milk. Just have my milk in there and mix it all together. Now the trick to a good peach cobbler or any cobbler is to melt your butter and get it steaming, get it boiling hot. I want to see it bubbly. And then once you take it out of the oven, be careful. And then you pour this flour, sugar, bourbon mixture in there. And then you're going to take your fresh peaches with the juice and all.
Really?
Now, what makes this good? You take some more of that bourbon and you pour it in there with those juices, because those juices are going to hit that butter, and there on the corners is going to be just like candy,
So we
bourbon
want to
candy.
caramelize, like,
Yes,
okay.
absolutely.
That's
you're
why
going to
the
pour
butter's
that
so
in
hot.
there, and what you're going to come out with is a beautiful bourbon peach cobbler. And so I'm ready to get this put together, and I'm ready to eat. I'm smelling some good bourbon in this house, and I am.
You're excited?
Mouth is watering.
I'm excited. I'm excited.
Love getting prices that are lower than low on food that's fresher than fresh? With the Kroger app, you can get personalized coupons on top of weekly sales and rewards like fuel points, all for prices that are lower than the everyday low. So go ahead, get lower than low. Kroger, fresh for everyone.
All right, Steve, are you ready? I think everything's pretty good and done.
I'm excited. You've already wrecked my non-COVID diet, so let's go see what's in the
It's
oven.
our virtual bourbon fest. Why not? Okay?
Right.
All right. Lord have mercy. Let's see
That's
what's
right.
in this oven. Oh,
my
my
goodness.
goodness.
bubbling
Whoo,
away.
doggies. I don't know which one to pull out first. I don't want to hurt the other one's feelings, you know? Let me see.
You're funny,
The
Mammy.
hens have got to come first.
Oh my gosh. Look
They're
at those.
ladies after all.
That's right. Ladies first. Ladies first.
Oh my goodness.
Look at those, the color on
That's
those carrots.
perfect.
That's incredible.
Oh, they look delicious. And then I know the Brussels sprouts. Look at that with that bacon and those bourbon pecans. Yes.
And
Oh
just
my
beautifully
goodness.
crispy.
There's your green. And oh, they are very crispy. And save the best for last? Yes.
That's right.
Perfect. Oh, this bourbon peach cobbler. Oh my goodness.
Mercy.
It just came out perfect.
Here's lunch, dinner, and tomorrow's
Oh
breakfast
my
all
goodness.
on one.
I am ready to eat. I'm going to fix you some sweet tea because you can't be in Bardstown. You certainly can't be in Kentucky without having some tea. And since it's our Bourbon Virtual Fest,
Right.
we got to add some bourbon to it.
That's right. And
So
that
pick
part's
you
not
out some
virtual.
bourbon.
So I'm going to go get this.
Oh, good choice, Steve.
I love this.
Good
The
choice.
1792 Full Proof. This is done by Barton 1792 Distillery, right up the road.
Right
from
up
your
the road
house.
from
We
us.
could just stop and get you a barrel, couldn't
We
you? Just on
love
the way
these
home?
people. I'm telling you, they're our favorite people.
Shows this. It's a brute. It is 125 proof, and you're really tasting the elements of the barrel and all that it brings to the whiskey itself. So I enjoy it.
Look at that ice melting. That ice is saying, I love you. You melt
Or I'm
my-
dying.
You're
I'm dying for
melting
you.
my heart.
One of the two.
Yes, we can't feed you all this food without something good to drink. All right. So one thing I'm going to do, I've got a little bit of this
The English
peach.
got nothing going on. That's great.
Oh, man,
That's
I'm
right.
jealous. I'm very jelly right now.
Yummy.
I've got a little bit of this left. There ain't no sense in taking this all the way back to the restaurant. Might as well go ahead and use it up here today.
That's just added weight. That's
So
drag.
I've got some powdered sugar, bourbon and sugar. Ooh,
So just a
man.
simple glaze.
I'm gonna make a glaze for this peach cobbler.
So any heating involved, or are you just going to
No.
stir and drizzle?
No, I ain't got time for all that.
Nobody got time for heating.
No. Oh my goodness. I'll add some of that. Oh, let's add all that sugar. Sugar, bourbon, and butter. And it's all right here in front of us today.
You're never
We are
gonna
two
drink
lucky
iced tea
people.
the same
Oh my
again.
goodness.
That's delicious.
Perfect, perfect, perfect. We're gonna add a little bit of more bourbon. Let's take some maple.
Keep it in the family. Little JB there.
Oh my goodness. Oh, doggies. I'm a lucky lady today. Lucky lady. To be able to cook all of this for you all out there. There we go.
We're the hungry beneficiaries. I and our producer back there behind the camera.
I know my house is smelling bourbonish
It is.
today.
The whole thing smells
Very
great.
good. All right, so I'm excited. Okay, let's go to the ends first, ladies first, like we said. All right, I've got your plate, Steve's plate.
Got my
right
name on it,
here. It's got
kinda,
your name on
sorta.
it. So we'll start with Mrs. Hen here. Give you the bigger one.
Oh, that's just what I need. That's my portion size right there. Good gracious.
Oh,
Normally
my
that would
goodness.
feed two people
At least two people,
Yeah.
absolutely. I think this would
that.
be good for both of
King
us.
Arthur.
Oh, it's tender. It's just wanting to fall off. And look at all those spices inside of there. Oh my goodness.
Oh my goodness is right.
That looks, you can almost just eat it with your fingers. And if you weren't here, I probably would.
Oh, me too.
Just
Zach
grab
didn't
it.
have us on camera.
I'm not doing very good.
Oh my gosh, look at that
at
fall
taking
apart.
this apart, but it is falling apart. Oh my gosh.
Mm,
Yeah.
What was your total cook time on that, did you
This
say?
is about 50 minutes. Wow. We're going to leave that right
It
there.
needs
as
smell-o-vision
is.
for the virtual
It
Kentucky Bourbon
smells
Festival.
divine.
Yeah, it's
it's
fantastic.
delish. That's for sure. Wow. Thank you, and I can really appreciate this. This very meaty underneath here with that crisp skin.
Mm-hmm.
And then you got this leg here. Look at that skin.
Yeah, I'm
oh my
a thigh
goodness.
guy.
That's drenched
That's good
in
stuff.
bourbon. Remember that.
Yummy.
All right, so we're going to set this aside. We're kind of going to get some of this.
Get the healthy stuff on there. Well,
The
the
healthy good
bird's
stuff.
healthy too.
Bourbon's healthy. Oh, look how crispy they are. They're soft and tender on the inside and good and crisp on the outside.
Yummy.
Oh, wow. Want to definitely get some of those bourbon pecans.
Oh, sure enough, there they are.
Yeah.
Little carrot, little Bugs Bunny action there.
There you go. Get you some bird on here. There you go. Yum, yum.
Perfect.
Let me get you up.
Fighting tools. Finally, it's time to try this fantastic food. All right, let's dig in.
Can't go wrong with
I almost
bourbon.
went with the vegetable first. What a bad choice it would have been. It's absolutely terrific. It's really
thank
tender.
you.
It's perfect. The bourbon glaze is in there really nicely. That's amazing just how sweet that is. I think I caught one of those pecans. Make sure I get one of those. Good crunch. And lastly, carrots. Perfect. Tender, buttery, bourbony.
Good.
Can't screw up.
Good. You can't screw up bourbon, and especially Kentucky bourbon. So,
All right, Mammy.
okay,
We've done
you
the
ready?
savory stuff. Let's go to the sweet. This
goodness.
incredible bourbon-peach cobbler.
Oh, see how
with
that...
Jim Beam peach accents. It's peach everywhere.
Oh my goodness. And we're going to put a little bit of our glaze or a little drizzle over this. Oh
Yum.
my goodness. Smells like peachy bourbon. Oh my.
That should be a cologne. Peachy bourbon.
Oh.
Think
So
it would
let's
work.
see what you think
Might get
about
you-
that.
Might not do well if you get pulled over. Smell like peach and bourbon. Okay. Oops, gotta get some of the crust in there for sure. Man. That's breakfast food right there too.
That's peachy.
It's got a bite of bourbon, and I like that a
Yeah.
lot. It's potent, little heat back there. I enjoy that a lot. Mammy, thanks so much for having me here to your kitchen and preparing this meal for me. This is great. Lucky me. You can be lucky you if you do the recipes at home. KentuckyBourbonFestival.com. Just look them up. You know, this is a Kentucky experience if you get to, enjoy until they come here. When they do come here, come to Mammy's
Absolutely.
kitchen. Absolutely. And you can get this kind of food. Thanks again for sitting with us and sipping with us. Stay tuned because there's much, much more of the Kentucky Bourbon Festival 2020 virtual edition.
Virtual.